First time real estate investor, but today I actually want to talk to you about the BRRRR method, which is the last part in my 3 series videos on how to invest in real estate. Stay tuned. This is pretty important and this will help you maintain your investment properties. Let's get it. Welcome back. So if you're watching this, you're interested in learning what the BRRRR method is. I know it sounds funny. I know you guys might have heard of this before. BRRRR. I'm not talking about Gucci Mane. But yeah, the BRRRR method has a lot to do with how you're going to increase your net worth in the future by using real estate. And not only will you increase your net worth, you will also increase your monthly cash flow just by using this method. So it might sound, easy because I make everything sound easy, but it's a lot involved when it comes to using this method. And I actually should have introduced this a while ago, but since this is the third part of my 3-part series videos, I want to kind of make this the last and show you guys what you need by using this method when it comes to real estate. So when it comes to the BRRRR method, the first thing you need to buy in is the first step you need to, start this whole process. When it comes to using the BRRRR method. So let me just give you a breakdown of what it is first. So what you honestly pretty much doing with the BRRRR method is you're just using the profits and equity from one property and using it to another property. So you're pretty much just doing, a strategic leverage from one property to another. And that's going to honestly, help you invest in more properties. It's going to have you or leave you with a whole arsenal of, real estate properties within 10 years if you just stick to this method. And, the good thing about this obviously is you're going to build your net worth because you're going to have equity in so many different properties. And these properties will, build appreciation depending on how you guys work it. So before in my old videos, I talk about how to find the best properties, how to, understand appreciation, how equity works. And this has a lot to do with, if you want to be successful in using this method, you need to understand the importance of finding the right property. So let's talk about the B first. So what the B is, like I just said, you need to buy, you need to get your foot in the door, you need to look for a property that's going to benefit you. You want to find something, and I'm going to just tell you guys just from my personal experience, you want to apply that 2% rule I spoke about before to, these properties, because you need to know that what you're doing, you're not wasting your time. You want to know that the properties you're looking at, you're going to build equity. Just to kind of lay it down to you, first things first, a way for you to automatically know if you're going to build equity is to apply the 2% rule. All you honestly need to do is divide the monthly rent times the amount you pay for it, and that's not including the rehab. Do that, and if it's anything less than 2%, then you're not going to be profitable with that property. So I always apply the 2% rule, and I always want to look for something that's obviously a little bit more or above, so I know I'm not wasting my time with the investment. Apply the 2% rule. All you honestly doing is dividing the rents. So let's just say $1,500, you're gonna do $1,500 divided by, let's just say if you pay $180 for a property, or if you pay $120. So you're looking at less than 1.75% profits for that one property, which is not bad, but you wanna go at least over 2%. So that's just something I will apply. I will also check comparable rates. You always want to do comps on properties. You always want to check the last sold property in that area because you could never know. You don't want to buy a property that's in a bad area, obviously. Location is number one. Always prioritize what you're buying with location. Location is number one because if you have a terrible location, you will lose money. You want to buy in at least a B-class area. You want to make sure that what you're buying will build appreciation, and you want to make sure that you can get the equity in that property. You can even do a rehab. So that's actually the second thing I want to talk about is rehab. Rehab is the R after the B. So rehab, we all know what rehab is. I spoke about renovations so many times, like literally. I feel like I talk about this all the time, honestly. But renovations, when you renovating a home, obviously you're actually adding equity to that property. Let's just say if you're buying a house for, $120 and the house need $40,000 worth of work. Right now you're at $160 with the total, but that's not the appraisal rate. If it's in a good location, you're definitely gonna see over 3% in return within that, first year of appreciation. So just always, whenever you look at homes and you following this method, the best way for you to kind of come on top is to have equity in the home, build appreciation. The best way to do that is always do a rehab. Find something that's in distress, find something that needs repairs, find something that's a little lower than market value, because this is honestly going to help you out a lot. It's just about finding something cheap, which is kind of hard. But if you can, look for something that you know you can rehab. You know you can kind of come out on top once you get the house appraised for. So I want to talk about the next one. After you buy a decent house for a decent price that needs the rehab, which is the second one, this third option is something I honestly been talking about for a long time, and that's renting. So the whole purpose of the earned cash flow when it comes to buying properties is to rent. You can't buy property. I mean, you'll build equity and appreciation over time, but that's after you sell the house. The best way to earn money, earn profits, and I always talk about honestly the quickest way to, not the quickest way, but it takes time. But I mean, if you want to be financially free, you want to rent your properties, you want to build wealth monthly, you want to build wealth over time by having this property, maintaining it, and always having tenants inside your property. You want to rent out, and you want to rent out for a decent amount. Some states, you can't go over what the county is, which is an issue I'm kind of having. But when you rehab a house, like we previously talked about, not only will you build equity, you could also have a nicer house, charge higher rents, and you bring nicer tenants in. I mean, the nicer houses always had a nicer tenant, so it's less concerning. But as a landlord, there are still responsibilities you have to go along with when it comes to renting, which is why I made this my third video, because now you're kind of in the process of renting out the house you want to get, and you want to know how to go along with the next process of buying your own real estate, which is the fourth thing I want to get into, and that's refinance. Refinance, it might be a little difficult to some people who might not understand it, and that's fine, because it is kind of complicated when you break it down to somebody. When it comes to the banks know how to do it. When it comes to cars, it's a little different. When it comes to houses, the thing when it comes to houses is that you have an asset already. A car, you don't really have an asset, because the moment you drive off the lot, you lose value. So it's a little different when it comes to a house and a car. When it comes to houses, you have an asset, you put money down into the house. So it's kind of like a collateral thing with the bank. You have equity in your home already, depending on how much you put down, obviously. So when it comes to refinancing, most of the times, most banks, you could do it within the 6 months, you could do it with a year. So you will erase the loan that you currently have, and you will get a new loan, and the new loan will kind of minus whatever you put inside the house, including renovations, and then take that out. And what's going to happen is your new loan will be the price you would get, and you will earn the cash back during closing, or I think it's after closing, but you will get the money right back. And with the money you get from the refinance, what every smart investor does is they don't go out and buy a necklace, a chain, a watch, go shopping. They reinvest into real estate. So after your first property, and this is very important, guys, because I preach this, now that you have your house, now that you're in the third step, you're in this process of you have tenants and you want to do something else. You don't want to have just one property. You don't want to save up a lot of money. The next step is refinancing. Before you even think about refinancing, guys, make sure you're eligible to refinance. Make sure you have enough equity. Make sure that the loan is at least paid down a little bit, and make sure that with the rehab, like I spoke to you guys about previously, you had that equity inside the house. You built equity within the home. So normally when you do a rehab, you make the home a little nicer. You're adding more value to the house. You're building appreciation up. And once you get the appraised value of the house, then you know how much cash you will get in return from all the equity you added to the house. I know it's a little complicated, but it all makes sense. So again, guys, this might seem simple and it might sound, amazing and awesome, and you're going to be rich by doing this. And yeah, you can, but it's a lot of work. The first step is finding the right property, because you can't do any of this if you got the wrong property. If you have a house where it costs a lot, the mortgage is high, taxes is high, and you're not making money because the rents is low. Always make sure that you're buying the right house. Always make sure, always apply the 2% rule when it comes to properties, because you want to make sure that you're actually gaining profits. Always, think about the comps. Always see the last sold price of the house that you're buying, and also the area. Make sure you're not being cheated. Make sure that what you're buying is actually worth it, and also make sure the location is good. Those are things I will apply when going into this. I will also make sure you're eligible to get the refinance within the 6 months to a year, and if you can, which I'm not saying it like it's a hard thing to do, but most likely if you can't get it within the 6 months to a year, honestly the next step is to do it again, which brings me into my last R, repeat. You're gonna keep repeating this process, It might take you 2 years, it might take you 3 years, but the whole goal for you to build financial freedom through real estate is to keep repeating the BRRRR method. You want to keep doing it. You want to follow your first steps. Whatever mistakes you made before, try not to make them again. Do it again. If you want to build wealth, if you want to be successful, earn financial freedom, remember, the BRRRR method is the way to go. You will honestly be really successful when it comes to investing in real estate. This is my last part of my 3 series of videos on how to invest in real estate. I have a lot more content coming up for you guys, so please stay tuned. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, hit the thumbs down. I don't mind. I could take the heat. Anyways, comment if you want to know anything about refinancing, if you want to know what to look for when buying a house, if you want to know more about the 2% rule, 50% rule, or even 75% rule. Just leave a comment. I'll be sure to make videos about those things, or just leave a comment on whatever you want me to talk about next. But I do have a lot of new updates for you guys regarding real estate. So guys, thanks for watching. Again, subscribe, and Daquan Jones, check it out.